Before we start, let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Ryder, let's lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Place your hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, first order of business of this meeting is to have a community forum with our local police department. I want to thank Delia DeRiggi-Whitney for setting this up, and thank you for coming on your daughter's birthday tonight.
Oh, yeah, it's 25.
So thank you for foregoing
That is very
birthday
nice.
festivities, for setting this up and for coming. I greatly appreciate it. I have many members of the 6th precinct here, and specifically I'd like to welcome Commissioner Ryder to the front and or the back, or wherever you want to speak from.
Can you
And
jump right in?
yeah, please jump right in.
Okay.
I think everybody here knows the situation of some recent crime we had in the village, and Commissioner Ryder is here to discuss that, and we have questions and whatever we need.
Yep, so I'm gonna go over a bunch of things for you and try to fill you in and give you some sense of security and understand what's going on. But first, with us is our Deputy Inspector, Kat Radigan. She is going to introduce the team that is with us from the precinct and explain who they are.
Yes, this is commanding officer of the 6th Precinct Detective Squad, Eric Rivera, Carlos DaCosta, and I think everyone's met my pop officers here. So we're just happy to be here. Thank you for the invite, and the commissioner's going to explain our staff.
So I'm gonna give you some numbers and some ideas, and then we're gonna talk about some specific cases, but give you an idea where we are. So we're the safest county in America 5 years in a row. Hands down, we're down crime again this year, all major crime down 8%. There's roughly 560,000 homes in Nassau County, and last year we finished with less than 360 burglaries in Nassau County. So our percentage, and that keeps going down. If you go back 10 years ago, we used to average about 200 burglaries a week in Nassau County. That's how bad it was getting when crime was a little higher. So, like I said, we're down to that 365. Residential burglaries are down 19% this year again from where it was last year. And last year was a record number. So we look at crime overall. Like I said, we stolen cars, big one on the eye, and that's why a lot of these houses are being broken into. Go back 2 or 3 years ago, everybody was stealing cars. People were leaving their fobs in their car. It was easy to take a car. Bad guys know windows out, wherever it was, and how to get into the cars, and they'd steal the cars. There's roughly 1,040,000 cars registered in Nassau County, 1,040,000. And last year alone, we had less than 700 cars stolen in this county, and this year we brought that down almost 28%. So we're driving crime, continuing to drive it down in the right area. But you're concerned about Flower Hill, right? So let me tell you about Flower Hill. Flower Hill has one of the lowest crime in all of Nassau County, right? Your robberies, we had in 2022, we had one commercial robbery, and this year, in 2023, no commercial robberies. The year before, we had 2 assaults. This year, no assaults. In residential burglaries, you had 6 in 22. In 23, you had 4. Commercial burglaries, none in either year. Stolen vehicles, you had 4 in 22. You had none in 23. Grand larcenies, you had 24 in 22. You had 20. That's the gentlemen that go through your cars at night when the cars are open. All right, and then you don't have any homicides. So,
Commissioner?
yep,
Just so you know, with live streaming, if you stand there.
I can't stand still.
That's fine. Maybe you want to stand in the
All
middle.
right, so I apologize. No, I move when they talk. No, I'm Irish, not a time. I'm always going. But so crime is historically low in this county. Historically low. Bad guys wake up every single day with a new reason to try to beat the system. They got no other agenda. They don't got to pay their mortgage. They don't got to pay their car payment. They don't got to bring their kids to school. What they do is they go, how can I beat the system? And when they were beating the system, it was about stolen cars because of the whole fobs left in the cars. And they beat us to about 780, I think, what it was in 22. And we knocked it down 19 to 20% last year. And we're still driving it down right now. This year, it's only a couple of days in, it'll be 2 weeks in, but we're already down in that number. Residential burglaries, same thing. They're not stealing like they used to steal. there's two types of groups that are out there. The South American theft group. That is a group that comes up from South America. They fly up here. There's a location in Queens where they gather up, and they'll stay here for a couple of weeks, and they'll break into your house. And when they break into your house, and if there's nobody hurt, and there's no damage, and there's no other outstanding, like a weapon or anything like that on the individual, they're going to get out, even if we arrest them, with no bail. They will get out the next day. So we'll arrest them, we'll catch them, we'll bring them to the judge, and the judge will release them with no bail. Because a residential burglary with no violence and nobody hurt is that low, non-violent felony, so they get out with no bail. So what happens? I'm from South America, I get sent up here. I know to go to Nassau County's North Shore. That's what they're told. We have them on wiretaps actually discussing that. And they'll say, go up to Nassau County North Shore, this is where you go, meet in Queens, go in. If you get caught, leave. As soon as you get out of bail, leave, come on home. Bring your profits and come on home. If you don't get caught, keep going until you get caught, or it's time to go home. And they've been beating us for a couple of years now. Our burglary pattern team, Sergeant Jeff Raymond, who was going to be here but could not, right, will tell you what they've done between what we call tower dumps and dumping phone records and trackings of vehicles. And a lot of your newer cars have tracking devices on the vehicles. The cars that are being stolen are going, there's another group on there, they're in Newark. These guys in South America, they don't want no part of stolen cars because there's nothing they can do with it. They're not bringing it back down south. So what they'll do is they break into your house and they take jewelry, they'll take money, they'll sell some of the jewelry down in the Diamond District, and then they get out of town with the cash that they have in hand, or they'll bring the jewelry back with them down in South America. The stolen cars, they'll end up in Newark, New Jersey. We know where they go. We track them back to Newark, New Jersey. We recover about 80% of the cars that are stolen, because eventually they'll park the car, they'll leave it until it's not hot, and then they'll try to transfer it or sell it or do something. They'll sell it to another gang member, they'll sell it to another burglar that's going to come out and steal, and they'll use that stolen car then to commit crimes here in Nassau County. Other thing that goes on, they run from us. They love to take off. We're very cautious about what we're going to chase. The value of a car is not worth the value of your child. So I'm not going to run somebody through the middle of the day in a burglary through the community here and risk some kid being hit. 3 o'clock in the morning, we push it to a different level. We're allowed to go to some, it depends on the time on the road, who's on the road, what's on the road, the weather that's out there, and we move in that direction. So we've been, and the county executive has invested in extra resources, has increased the headcount of the police department by 50 additional officers, has put those officers out in the street. You might have seen them, that's called Operation Overwatch. Five cars in the road driving around. We're now rethinking that on how we're going to get a better return on investment from that and how we can continue low crime. And I'm not going back because, look, if you're a victim of one crime, you're aggravated, you're upset, you want answers. And I agree, right? We don't want any crime. One of the largest counties in the country, it's not going to be that easy with 1.5 million residents. And we have a very good county as far as the makeup of it and everything else. And so when crime comes to Nassau County, it comes in waves and we attack it pretty quickly. We're dealing with the migrant issue right now, and especially up here, closer to the Queens border. We're having some crime issues on the border with the migrants coming over, especially with breaking into the cars at nights, right? We do not have a migrant issue in Nassau County, but it's right across the way in Queens, and we're addressing that, working with them. So when you look at crime, like I said, safest county in America 5 years in a row. Our homicides in Nassau County doesn't affect you up here, but one would. Last year we had 11 homicides in the county. That's historic lows, and we're in existence 100 years and 2 years from now. So in 98 years, that is the lowest amount of homicides we've ever had in this county. And 6 of them belong to Nassau County proper. The other 5 belong to some of the village police departments. But again, we work very well with our village police departments. We've installed about $4 million worth of license plate readers up into the area of the North Shore, throughout Nassau County, but the North Shore got a large amount of it because of the stolen car problem. But bad guys steal a car that you don't know, sometimes it's gone till you wake up in the morning and it's already sitting in Newark. So there are ways that we combat that and go after it. So what I did was, for this purpose here, is the lieutenant is from the squad. He's gonna talk about the recent case that we had, I think, 2 weeks ago. Mel? If you wanna come up and just talk about it real quick? And he can't go into specifics because it's an ongoing case. Yeah.
All right, folks, how you doing? My name is Sergeant Rivera.
Stand in the middle, don't move too much.
Sir, my name is Sergeant Rivera. I'm the commanding officer here in the 6th Squad. So, just a few days ago, over on Mallard Lane, there was a lot of police activity, and I know that the group was involved, sort of helicopter up. You know, that was our police response to an alarming call. The original call had come in that a stranger was banging on the back door, holding a knife, saying, "Let me into the house." You know, very fortunate living here in Nassau County. The response time of the police department is amazing. Patrol is out there. That call goes out, immediately the cops were at scene. Supervisor had requested that we get a helicopter up, and we searched all over looking for this guy. Weren't able to find him. Report was taken, left the scene. A couple hours later, we get a call back again at that location that somebody had spray painted the door. Again, the helicopter was right back up. We set up a cordon in the neighborhood, constant, patrol around looking for the subject. We weren't able to find him. We did an extensive video canvas. The video, we're not able to find anything in there. We're still working on the case. I know that my detective has been in contact with the victim of that case. It's still ongoing, but if I could just make a couple of suggestions as a detective, as somebody who's investigated these cases. With your Ring cameras, there is a way to expand the area that those cameras pick up. Because a lot of the times, a lot of our cases, we're able to identify a car by a front bumper or a front quarter panel with a trim on it. Maybe we get a little piece of the tire. So if we extend our Ring cameras out a little bit further, get out to that street there, maybe you can help us with grabbing these guys that are doing these break-ins.
Yeah, can you shut your phone off, please?
Yes.
Sorry.
Not a problem. Just another little point, and like the commissioner had mentioned, we've got these. There's been an escalation because there is still great profit to be made in these stolen vehicles. We work very closely with detectives out of New Jersey, out of Connecticut, the tri-state area. It's a situation we're all dealing with. If you got alarms at your house, you set the alarm at night when you're home. And I know I'm guilty of it. I don't always set the alarm at night. But if that back window gets popped, that alarm's gonna sound, these kids are gonna take off. And that's what they are, the kids. They're all juveniles. They just wanna get in there, grab those keys, and get that car and take off. I've spoken to these kids. I've debriefed these kids when we have taken them into custody. And I said, what made you pick this neighborhood? And he says, I just Googled nice neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And that's what comes up. Your neighborhoods come up in that. It's the truth. But like I said, it's the little things that we could be doing. We could just, like I said, maybe leave some lights on. The commissioner had mentioned your South American crew. They tend to hit a little earlier in the evening. So if you're out of the house, if you have some lights on in the house, they're not going to hit the house. They're looking to hit a vacant house. And same thing at night. When these kids are looking to just steal your car, you got a light on. If you got the alarm set, they're not going to be able to get into the house.
You're good.
All right,
You can move.
All right.
So, couple of things that, as you told, those tips that we ask you to look. There's a thing called septic. Crime prevention through environmental design. Lighting in your house, taking that mail in if somebody can take it in. Because they'll go down and they'll check a mailbox. If there's mail in it, they know you're not home. There's no cars in the driveway, they know you're not home. If there's no lights, especially when we change the clocks go, if the lights are still are not on in the house and there's no car in the driveway, they know it's 5 o'clock. I probably got about an hour to play in that house before they actually get home. So they know, they also know Friday and Saturday nights. People like to go out to dinner. They know they'll leave that residence anywhere from 5 o'clock to 7:30, 8 o'clock. If you're not home, they'll take a chance on that house. They'll also go up and they'll do exactly what Eric said. They'll bang on the door. They'll bang on the glass just to see if there's spots. They'll break the glass. They'll go hide in a bush and wait to see if there is an alarm and wait to see if the cops